Welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. It's Wednesday, it's the 23rd of February, we've got new mods, we have a couple of updates today. The Class Election 8900-5300 by Jeff D25 and the Heavy Duty Shelf by Domindina have both had updates today. We have got, right there, the Lizard Work Cap, this attachment here, 4 telehandlers. This is by Rick Black Labele TWD modding, 0.59 megabytes download, 1 slot on console. If you've ever had problems with trees and tree limbs and things you wanted to cut down, that kind of thing, especially with the telehandler, these things become a lot easier when you have a work platform. I mean, to be fair, you can, of course, just, if you wanted to. Unfortunately, you can't get in it and raise and lower while you're in it, but you can cut the boom into the cage where it's safe, and then out comes your chainsaw and start cutting limbs, whatever you want to do. Because if I go into here and just drop in like so, open up this menu here, there's nothing here that gives me controls to do anything, so you do have to come up the boom to use it. As I said, you'll find it under telehandler tools. Drop it off. So, under tools and telehandler tools, on the very end there, 3200. It's 1 slot anyway, so it stays at 1 slot. There's no options to change colour or anything like that. It comes in black or a nice black. Lizard Work Cap by Rick Black Labele TWD modding. Next up we've got these. This is the Rustic Fence by Ragman 2414 or 2414. 0.59 megabytes download. 1 slot for each on console. We have got a smaller, a narrower gate, or a slightly wider gate, and then we've got the fence sections, which is just here. We go into our build mode, go along to decoration, down onto our fences, and scroll right the way along past the hedges, and right to the very end, I think, for these ones. So we've got them here. The fence section starts at 75. The smaller gate is 550. The larger gate is 800. The slot counts for 1 on these anyway. If you go to your fence, you can place your post, then drag, stop, change angle, drag, like you can with all the fences and stuff now in game. Then when you're done, just come out of it and you can place your fence. The longer the fence, the more expensive it's going to be. And that's where the Rustic Fence is by Ragman 2414. Nicely detailed, it does exactly what it says on the tin. Next up, while we're in the menu here, we've got the Concrete Fence and Gates by Camelos 0397. 3.6 megabytes download. These are also 1 slot each on console, and like I said, by Camelos 0397. So we've got the sort of concrete wall fence section. We've got a gate, a rusted, well, 2 rusted gates really, but one slightly more rusted than the other. These you'll find here. So the fence section starts at 500, and again, if we click on it, place our post to enclose in whatever you want to do. I do like this method far more than FS19. On console, trying to place fence panels and line them up, it was a nightmare. And as I found whenever I did mod reviews, this system is so much better. And each of the gates, the first one, the really rusty one, is £1,000. The second really rusty one, or rusted one, is 1,100. That's where you'll find them. Under decorations, fences, and that's where they should be. So these ones, as you can see, nicely textured, nicely detailed. First gate, second gate, they all do the job that they were intended to do. Moving on from there, we've got this. This is the water tower Rozhnovsky 25 cubic meters VBR 25U-12. That's the designation for it. And this is by RusAgroTech. It is 2.05 megabytes download, 2 slots on console. When you've bought it and placed it, it charges you. Now, I say this, it charges you for fuel. For fuel. It doesn't charge you for fuel, it charges you for water. A lot of the water points that I've put onto here on No Man's Land, I've been charged for, and I've had a few people message me and say, oh, you should use such and such, or you should use this, use that on whatever Let's Play, because once it's placed it doesn't charge you. And I thought, well, I'm sure when I checked those, when I did the mod reviews, it charged me. So I don't know if it's an idiosyncrasy of the map. As it stands for me, at the moment here on No Man's Land, it is charging me for water. At this point, I did bring over the little water tanker just to check. But you might find when you place it, it doesn't. We'll see. So if we go into, it's under containers, right on the very end there, on the right hand end, it says water tank there, £2,000. Slot count will come down from 2 to 1, and you've got your water tower by RusAgroTech. Next we have got the shed solar panels. Not bad size shed that. This is by Matesh Mods. It is 5.54 megabytes download. It is 5 slots on console. Because it's got solar panels on the roof, this will pay you 2,880 per calendar month, regardless of how many days you're set on for each month. It will just split that down, so every month you'll get 2,880 for the month. Not a bad size. We'll go in, just double checking over here as well. There we go. Light switches on or off, using some of that power from the roof, and why not? Mind you, I'm wondering actually whether there'll be a charge, considering you're producing electricity and being paid anyway. But, yeah, turn the lights off. Also under build mode, this you'll find under buildings and sheds. On the very end there, 45 grand. Actually, I'm just going to double check on the website, see what it says. Daily upkeep, 15 per day. Surely if it's providing its own power, there shouldn't be. Anyway, regardless. Yeah, so 45 grand, 2,880 a month. It's not. It's it's a fair size. When you come to place it, it takes up a bit of room. You need to make sure you've got somewhere nice and flat. So under buildings and sheds. Moving on, we have got the battle of the biogas. 50 kilowatt versus 60 kilowatts. Fight! I jest, of course. We are going to look at both of them. We've got 2 biogas plants today. We've got the BGA 50 kilowatt. This by Camelos 0397. 2.91 megabytes download and 10 slots on console. Then we've got the BGA 60 kilowatt. 7.16 megabytes download. This is by MefiuFs, and I didn't write down what the slot count was. That's silly of me. Anyway, they're both very nicely detailed. I suppose we kind of look at them both together at the same time. They're both BGAs. These are both smaller size BGAs, lower price BGAs. Processing, the quantities they take are much smaller. It's designed for your casual biogas producer, somebody who wants to get into it but doesn't want to go mad and spend millions on a facility. But they are very nicely detailed. All things being said, the Camelos 0397 one here, with the 2 domes, almost like a turquoisey kind of roof to it. All the stuff you need is around the front. You can tip in up there, but it does allow here on the floor as well. Your slurry will go in there. Obviously you've got your production chains to look at in there, and then taking your digestate out is done here. On the other one, your slurry comes in here at the front. Your digestate is taken out here at the front, but putting in everything else is done around the back here, which can also be done in there or down at the floor. It's always the same, isn't it? Wait for a bus to come at once. So here's the thing. In our battle of the biogas plants, which one is going to come out on top? Because there's a few things to consider. Initially I thought, has this got a silage clamp on the side? I'm not getting anything coming up for silage clamp. So aesthetics, it may be that's more your style and you like the layout of it, like with the gravel around the side and stuff. It's a nice layout, nice design. This one looks a little bit different to the ones we've got, the Planet ones we've got a few of, the standard base game models and stuff. So this looks a bit different as well. But but it's going to come down to the minutiae, the little details. And so what we're going to do first, we're going to go into our build mode. We're going to go to production, and we're going to go along and have a look at both of them. The 50 kilowatt is 135 grand. Tick in the box for the 50 kilowatts. A little bit cheaper than the 60 kilowatt, but it's only a 50 kilowatt. So you think, fair enough. The 60 kilowatt one is 150 grand. So remember, Camelot 0397, MefiuFs. I'm only joking with this kind of fight. You know, it doesn't matter which one comes out on top, if one comes out on top at all, because it'll be down to a personal preference. But these bits of information may be important to you. Like I say, the slot count on that one was 10. That one I didn't write down, but I can't think it was going to be much more than that. And I've already put stuff in them, so I don't really want to... Sorry about that. What I'll do, off camera, I'll do one when I finish this, and I'll put it up on the screen what the slot count on that one is. Sorry, that could I mean, if that was like 40 slots, then yeah, you might, well, you know, we shall see. So that's where you'll find them, under build mode, under production, under factories, and they're on the end there, 135, 150. Not a huge amount of difference in price on them either. It's not like one's 135, the other one's 300,000. You know, the prices are pretty similar. And that's what's quite impressive and quite surprising with both of these, is they've come out on the same day. I don't suppose they were submitted at the same time. Maybe they were. But if we now go into our menu and we look at them both, the 50 kilowatt is at the top, the 60 is at the bottom. If we go and look at, now this is where things get really interesting. So if you look at the recipe, don't worry about the rest, look at the recipe. So for silage, 840 in, 756 electricity plus methane, 252 digestate. Let's go down to the silage on the 60 kilowatt. Identical. Then we look at our slurry. 200 in, 180 electricity, methane, 60 digestate. Look at the other one. Exactly the same. It's the same with the manure. And it's the same with the sugar beet. So like, okay, so they're exactly the same. But look at the 50 kilowatt and look at the cycles per month now. Cycles per month on the 50 kilowatt, 96 cycles per month, cost of 60 per month for the slurry, for the silage. Then slurry, manure and sugar beet are 72 cycles, but also 60. We go to the 60 kilowatt, the price per month is the same, but the cycles are lower. On the 60 kilowatt, it's 48 compared to 96. On the rest, those ones are 72, these ones are 24. So our cycles per month are much lower. Then, if we go across and we look at what you can put into them, our incoming materials, the 50 kilowatt takes 30,000 litres of silage, 30,000 litres of slurry, 17,200 of manure, and 23,600 of sugar beet cut. However, the 60 kilowatt, whilst it does 30 and 30 of the first two, it's much lower on the manure and the sugar beet for capacities. Now again, this all may be a moot point. You may be looking and go, well, I don't really care. That's fine, you don't have to. But you may be interested in that. For me at the moment, the 50 kilowatt is kind of edging it a little bit. So what I'm going to do, put all the processes on. I'm going to scroll past an hour and see. Now the other thing as well is you've got outgoing products, digestate. There aren't any outgoing products. Now whilst it's saying it's producing electricity and methane, there's no outgoing product for either of those. And there's nowhere on here for collecting either of those. Now I have wondered that on base game stuff, and they did change it in the update, so the base game ones now have a point where you can get your methane and your electricity from. There is the modular biogas plant set up, all that stuff that came by Castor. And you can add those things on, so you can mix these in with that if you wanted to down that route. So what I'm going to do is just speed up time, as I said. No, I want to go to that one. We'll go past the hour, we'll go up to 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock we'll stop and we'll see if one's produced more than the other. I mean, they're both running exactly the same time. Obviously, one's got a little bit more in than the other, but I've filled them both to capacity. Right, let's put that back to there. Let's go back to I come out the menu and have a look. So this one, we've got 2,720 litres storing. This one, 1,220. I have to say, I know, you know, as a modder, the last thing you want is your mod coming out the same day as a mod that's almost identical, of course. And maybe you think comparing them is unfair, but what do you think people are going to do as soon as the mod comes out and they go looking for a biogas plant? You're going to compare the mods that are available in the mods hub, and you're going to pick the one that works best for you. The 50 kilowatt edges it in quite a few areas. I'm not going to lie. That's not to say they're not both well made. And they do look fantastic, absolutely great. You be the judge. I'm just putting the information there. You decide from there what you're going to do with that information. That's entirely up to you. But that's it for the mods for today. There is a new map out, actually. Oh, it says update, but I think the update is console release, or part of console release, isn't it? Well, that's weird. Let's go back to that. Yeah, we've got La Campagne Angevine, the Angevine countryside by Mael LTA, and it's saying update, but the change log says corrected the wrongly placed water plane. Now this hasn't previously been out on console, so I'm assuming that should have been part of that as well. I will hopefully be doing a map tour on that today, possibly tomorrow morning, but there is a new map out as well. If you have found this helpful, useful in some way, shape or form, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.